So at this point, how much weight have you lost?
As of Monday, I'm down 309 pounds.
Crazy. Oh, okay. So your stomach has shrunk a lot.
When I had the gastric sleeve surgery, they cut out more than 3/4 of my stomach. My wake up call was I ended up in the hospital with a pancreatitis attack. So they put me on antibiotics because they couldn't operate because I was way too heavy. The surgeon really opened up my eyes. He said, come back in 3 months and show me you can lose 100 pounds. I'm just really thankful that I'm here, given the second chance that I have, and, able to do things with my kid, shoot hoops with him out on the court and not be that guy that every parent stares at because I'm 600 pounds. I'm 326 pounds as of Monday. Couldn't tell you when I was 300 pounds ever.
Wow. Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today, we've got something a little different, a little special. We've got Pete with us here today, and we're going to be talking about his weight loss journey, his transformation. You guys might have seen from the thumbnail, Pete started off at over 600 pounds. So we are going to get into, his weight loss journey, a little bit of his history, what inspired him to want to make the change, and, what are some of his goals in the future. So if you guys are looking forward to hearing his story, that's coming up next. All right, Pete, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Unfortunately, you're on the East Coast. It's cold over there. We're in sunny Dallas today. So I'm nice and toasty. But how are you feeling? You enjoy the holiday?
Yeah, I feel great. Had a happy Thanksgiving, and didn't really indulge like I was told by my doctor I could, but I'm sticking to the plan, and I pretty much just had like 4 little slices of turkey.
Okay. Well, that's actually a good place to start. I actually was going to ask you, how has Thanksgiving changed for you, like today, let's say today versus before you started your weight loss journey? What are some of the main differences that you would say between Thanksgiving 10 years ago versus today?
Whew. So the plates got a lot lighter, to say the least. So Thanksgiving 10 years ago compared to today, I would say 10 years ago, I was going up for maybe third or fourths, like third or fourth rounds, and eating at maybe 2 or 3 different houses during this day. This is my first year after I've had the bariatric sleeve surgery, where I actually, was at a household that had a lot of food and, for Thanksgiving. So this year I literally just I just took like 4 little pieces that were already cut up of turkey. And I said chicken because that's all I eat anymore. Turkey, but like 4 little slices, and I had like half of a deviled egg, and that pretty much that filled me the whole night.
Oh, okay. So your stomach has shrunk a lot.
Yeah, I when I had the gastric sleeve surgery, they cut out more than 3/4 of my stomach.
Okay.
So they said that my stomach could probably hold maybe 5 ounces at the most at this point.
Okay, cool. Well, I definitely want to get more into that. We won't start there, but we'll work our way to there because I'm very interested to hear about your experience with that surgery.
Okay.
But let's go back in history a little bit, and let's look at well, first of all, when did you actually decide, it's time for me to make a change? When was that?
January of 2023 was my wake up call. Prior to that, what happened, what my wake up call was, is I ended up in the hospital with a pancreatitis attack. And they basically said it was a medicine induced attack because I had taken milk thistle.
Okay.
And I've never taken it in my life. So I was like, I was trying to detox. I was trying to kickstart. And then the kickstart went the opposite direction and landed me in the hospital. My bilirubin levels were like over 700 to 800. Everything wasn't looking good. So they put me on antibiotics because they couldn't operate because I was way too heavy.
Mm.
For the operating table. The operating table held 500. So I was 135 pounds over that, and they didn't want to risk me going into having my gallbladder taken out at that high of a weight because of possible enlarged liver, things of that nature. So thankfully, the antibiotics worked, and when I got out, that's when I kind of got the ball rolling and started on my weight loss journey.
I never even considered the fact that there was a weight limit to the actual surgery table.
Hmm.
Because I've heard in the past, like I haven't done a ton of research into like weight loss surgery, but I've heard in the past where people are like, my doctor says I got to lose X amount of weight before I could do the surgery. Now, I'm not saying that that's because of a weight limit. I'm just saying, like, I never actually asked why. I've never, inquired why is it that doctors say you got to lose X amount of weight before you can do the surgery. Obviously, this is not a weight loss surgery that you're talking about here, but
Right.
I wonder if that's kind of part of it. If you're over that limit, then you can't get the surgery just because of the table. I don't know.
I mean, that's what I was told. I personally have never researched it either. My bariatric surgeon also told me the same thing. He said that the table only holds 500. So I just felt like if he told me it and then the doctors at a different hospital told me the same thing, I was just like, all right, well, I guess it's true unless they really just want me to lose weight.
Yeah, what would be the point of them lying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that it's just I like honestly, I'm a little taken back. Honestly, I would just think reinforce the table. I always thought that it was like it was almost like more of it increase your risk of things going wrong if you were
Mhm.
over a certain weight. Like I just thought it was I wouldn't have never thought it was a mechanical thing like that.
That's what I
So
assumed as well was the risk factor because,
yeah.
a lot could go wrong at that much weight with all the, fat and everything. It would be hard for them to get into anything if something went wrong. So
Wow.
I
I,
thought that
I'm
as well.
I'm gonna have to do some research on that, man. I'm that's just
Yeah.
I'm I can't believe that. All right, so what I'm curious to know, because you said you took milk thistle, right? Which is
Yep.
is a herb.
Yes.
What was your mindset? Why were you trying to detox? Because you said the wake up call was kind of like your reaction to the milk thistle, but why were you taking the milk thistle in the beginning?
So basically, to kind of backtrack a little bit to get to the whole story. So I took the milk thistle because I had started drinking again. And I just I didn't think it was for me. And, it wasn't for me. I started drinking again because of events that happened prior to January, where I kind of like was in a really dark place and was just treating everybody terrible.
Mm,
I wasn't happy, just a lot of things went on that put me in a bad headspace. And I kind of just focused on eating whatever I wanted and drinking again and just, was slowly, secretively trying to take my life.
mm,
Um, and I talked to a friend of mine who's a nutritionist and his wife is a nutritionist, and they said to take milk thistle to start a liver detox because, with the drinking, I just didn't think the drinking would help better. Like, it wasn't good for me regardless.
right.
So I just thought, all right, maybe I could do like a liver detox, get all the bad out of me, and just move forward and start. So took the milk thistle. Hour later, I'm at my mom's house, slouched over, feeling like I'm having a heart attack. Not sure what's going on. I was like, it's not a heart attack because I could breathe fine, but I'm having, these horrible pains in the middle of my chest, like bad. The EMTs come, they say it's nothing bad. And I'm like, there's no way. So I get home, lay down. I'm like, I gotta go to the hospital. Go to the hospital. I went to the hospital because my neighbor's a nurse and she recommended that I go because there were indications that it was something with my pancreas or liver or something of that nature. I don't want to be too graphic, but you know, going to the bathroom, things weren't looking normal.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first indication. And that's when I went to the hospital and they said I had a pancreatitis attack. And sure enough, I was in there for about a week. And, just seeing not being able to see my kid was rough. And when I did see him on FaceTime, he just would cry because he wanted me to come home.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't. And, sitting in the hospital made me realize that, being selfish, how I was just eating and drinking and, ready to just let my life go and just, hopefully not wake up one day. It wasn't the right thing to do. It was very selfish of me to think like that. And, when I got out of the hospital, he was really excited to see me. And that's where I kind of needed to change pretty much. Cause I don't want him to be crying over my casket at 7 years old. I want to be there for him. I mean, my mindset at the time before January was just not there, and it wasn't me thinking about my family. It was me thinking about my own feelings and how I was hurt and how I'm in this deep hole and I didn't care what anybody thought. So I just, came to the realization that I was being super selfish to my kid and my wife and all my family. And, I decided to make the change. And I went and saw, a few doctors that wanted me to start on Wegovy and things of that nature. And I never really did it right at first. I just wanted to start with the gym because, I've tried to lose weight before and I've done it, but I've fallen off. So, that was like the backstory, pretty much of how it all started. So then I went to my family doctor and they said that you should definitely get on Wegovy. So I got on Wegovy, started on Wegovy first. And I also was working out at the gym at 635 pounds. And it was, I have videos of me working out at 635 pounds and it's just, I never seen myself like that ever. But now that I've lost all the weight, I still see that guy. It's weird. Yeah. So, but yeah, I started out on Wegovy, was going to the gym 3 days a week. I tried to eat better. I wasn't eating out as much. I was meal prepping, but, it was slowly coming off. And then made an appointment to see a bariatric surgeon. And that's where I kind of got the kick I needed. Because I tell you what, if it wasn't for this man telling me how I needed to hear it, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. Mm. And I praise him up and down. Probably one of the best surgeons that bariatric surgeons I've met with. He keeps it real. He doesn't care if your feelings get hurt about what he says. So, and that's what I need. I need tough love. I need tough love. And he basically told me, you're heavier now than the last time I seen you, because I was considering the bariatric surgery before COVID. And I never went through with it. And that's when I gained all my weight back, was during COVID, because I sit here next to a pantry that's filled with, items that little kids love eating. Mm-hmm. So if I got bored at work, I would be like, all right, maybe I can get some Doritos real quick to get a handful, and a handful will turn into a half a bag. So, the surgeon really opened up my eyes. He said, I'm not taking you serious. He's like, you're 185 pounds heavier now than you were last time we met. He's like, I don't think you're serious. He's like, if you're serious, come back in 3 months and show me you can lose 100 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. He's like, because right now you can't have the surgery. You're too heavy. I don't want to touch you. Pretty much. Like he didn't say it exactly like that, but
Mhm.
he put it to me where I needed to make something happen. And yeah, that's where the journey started. Right after that meeting, I started kicking in the overdrive.
Okay. So in the past, you said you had lost weight before. So would you say that you've been struggling with weight all your life? Is it like since you've been an adult or
Mhm.
yeah?
Yeah, I've struggled with weight my entire life. I've been a big kid my entire life. I graduated high school 420 pounds. Of yeah, I mean, I think second grade I was like 120 pounds. I was a big boy. I
Okay.
was a big kid. I mean, I was big my entire life. So I struggle with it because of bad eating habits. Uh, food my entire life was a coping mechanism. It always made me feel good, even though it didn't.
Yeah.
And it was always there for me. So that's kind of how I became so big, pretty much.
So growing up, would you say that you guys did you eat a lot of fast food? Was it more snacks? Like, did you get home cooked meals? Like, what was your diet like more in detail?
Um, Majority it was home. I wouldn't say home cooked meals. I mean, they were microwave meals, like or oven meal, like
TV dinner type?
yeah, yeah, stuff like that. Man, I didn't come from like the the wealthiest background. I mean, we were pretty much middle class our entire life. I mean, my mom would work. My mom split up when I was. My mom and dad split up when I was young. So whenever I was with my dad, it would we would always eat out, or we would go to my grandmom and grandfather's to eat dinner where they were home cooked meals. But majority of the time when I was with my dad, it was fast food, pizza places, things of that nature. And then with my mom, it was more or less like Salisbury steaks,
Mm,
macaroni and cheese. She would cook chicken cutlets here and there, but even that, it's fried. I mean, but
hmm.
it was still like home cooked meals, but nothing like to the healthy side
Right.
of it. Like not grilled chicken or like there was always vegetables, carbs, and a protein, but like I would overdo it at times.
Hmm.
So it was more or less like I think it was a little bit of both, like fast food and like portion control in my eyes because I ate until I was full to the point where I was like, all right, I don't want any more.
Okay.
Then if I was hungry an hour later, I would go get more food, even though I shouldn't have ate because I just ate a lot an hour ago.
Hmm.
So there was a lot that played into it. I think it was, but as far as home cooked meals versus fast food, I would say it was more 80-20 fast food to home cooked meals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's our stories are kind of similar to one degree. So like when my parents broke up, when I was with my dad, we
Mm,
never had home cooked meals. When when
yeah.
when my mom and dad were together, they my mom always cooked. She was a homemaker. She didn't work most of the time.
Mm,
And so she would cook, but then when they split up, that's when and my dad is a big snacker. So like he taught me how to eat from gas station and all of that stuff. And he actually still does struggle with his weight to this day. And then what ended up happening is my brothers, we have a big family. So two of my brothers ended up living with my dad over a long period of time. I was just there for maybe like a year or less than 2 years. And then I went back with my mom. But my brothers that were with my dad, they literally blew up because they were only getting fast food and stuff. And then when my dad got remarried, his second wife, she didn't cook like my mom. I think that she probably cooked more closely related to how you mentioned your mom cooked.
mm,
And they ate a lot of fried chicken. Like it was fried chicken, all the time.
mm,
And as I was probably like 9 and I was seeing this and it was the first time that I understood how detrimental food is. You know, at 9 years old, because I was able to visually see, the differences in the way we ate.
Right.
And my those two brothers, they always struggled with their weight later in life too.
Mhm.
So I find that interesting. My younger brother did too, but he also went and lived with my dad for a period of time for, like at high school time. So
Hmm.
yeah, interesting. So you said that you had lost weight with the gym before. Outside of like just your traditional like gym, were there any other methods that you had tried to lose weight or maybe been successful with losing weight prior to Wegovy and like the bariatric surgery?
Not really. It was just mainly like just working out. Eat, like for example, when I was living with my mom, before I had moved out to live where we are now, my wife, um, I tried to lose weight on my own, and I did it for about a year, and I lost 180 pounds, and then like I don't know, something happened in my life where it threw me off track, and I stopped, and
Mm,
I gained it all back plus some. So I mean, I never really tried like keto or anything of that nature, like or water fasting or intermittent fasting. I did try that. It just wasn't for me because it worked, but it didn't. Like it worked for the first week or two, but then after that, it kind of like tapered and leveled.
okay.
But so mainly it was just what worked best for me was just working out, exercise, cardio. Well, cardio, weightlifting, and just a strict clean diet is what worked for me mostly. I hit training here and there, but nothing like crazy. Like I
Mm,
wasn't taking like diet pills or I was always afraid to try stuff like that.
hmm Well, my brother ran the gambit. He did it all. He did the diet pills. He did, obviously the exercise. He did
Hmm.
one time he was doing there's this extract you get from like a pregnant woman's urine or something. Like
Really?
it,
I'm
it
gonna have to start looking some stuff up now too.
I don't I don't know like HCG or something. I don't remember what it is, but
Oh,
like
I have
he
that.
he did it all and it's a roller coaster ride, right?
Yeah,
It's a roller coaster ride.
absolutely.
Um,
I take HCG. I take that for fertility purposes, though.
oh, okay. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's. It's just like with Wegovy and Ozempic, you could take it for diabetes, you could take it for weight loss. You have
Hmm.
different implications for
Yeah.
different medications and whatever. But I think lifestyle is the key. One
Yeah.
thing I did want to say, well, first of all, so at this point, how much weight have you lost?
Um, as of as of Monday, I'm down 309 pounds,
Crazy.
and
Yeah, that's insane.
that's in less than 2 years. So it was
Right. Because
what's that?
you when you said you started in January of 2023, I was just like, whoa, that's so what I'm getting at is I got to take my hat off to you because in my opinion, you got it out the mud. Like you did it the hard way.
Mhm.
Like Jim, like with if your main thing for weight loss is putting in that work at the gym, you're I mean, that's incredible. I like
Thank you.
I don't understand how y'all do it. Like I get it, you got a lot of motivation, but that is incredible.
Thank you.
So yeah, and kudos to you.
Thanks.
And you should know that that's special. Like that's not people don't have that in them,
Mhm.
you know? Um so what are you currently as far as like your dietary habits? You said you like you're eating more healthy or you changed your what are you eating? What are you consuming?
So do you want to know what I'm eating now after the sleeve surgery or before, like when I started in February to lead up to the
Let's
to
do both. Let's talk about it both. Yeah.
okay. So before before having the sleeve surgery, what I was basically eating was for breakfast, I was having a shake with non-sweetened vanilla almond milk and protein powder and some berries and like chia seeds for digestion. So I'd have that in the morning, and then lunch would be um, six 6 ounces of flank or skirt steak with 120 grams of basmati rice and 25 grams of peas, because I just didn't want broccoli or green beans, and peas I thought would be perfect. So
Okay.
25 grams of that, and then I'd have the same thing for dinner. And if I got hungry in between, I would have like a protein bar by Bear Bell, because
Okay.
I felt they were the best tasting ones out there that were available to me. And those Crunch Fit, I think they were pretty good too, but they were just got tired of them, you know. So
Yeah.
I mean that was pretty much my diet from February till May, June-ish of this
Okay.
year.
Okay.
Um, so that's what I did to start the weight loss. Before I had the surgery, I lost 167 pounds of it on my own, just using Wegovy and going to the gym. I've also was doing TRT injections because my testosterone was low, so they had me on TRT therapy.
Hmm.
And just eating right in general is what helped me lose 167 pounds to get to my surgery goal weight in order to have the procedure done.
Gotcha.
And now that I've had the procedure, now I'm sticking to basically like it's. I mentioned I never did keto or carnivore. Now it
Hmm.
seems like that's what I'm doing now at this point in my life, because my doctor wants me to stick to nothing but protein. So like no carbs, no sugars, no fruits, no veggies, even though they're good sugars and good carbs because they're natural. He says I can have them, but he wants me to make sure my protein intake is there first. So, after I eat my protein, I'm not hungry. So I don't want the vegetables or anything else. Like, perfect example, don't mind the trash, but this is one of my containers I used to eat with, and I use my kid's spoon.
Mm.
It's perfect size.
Yeah.
And it makes me eat slower because I don't have a bigger, you know, spoon area to scoop food in with. So, for
Nice hack.
example, it definitely helps me slow down eating. I feel like, because it's
Hmm.
smaller amount. So, like for example, what I had before we started the interview was I had 4.5 ounces of a rotisserie chicken that I pulled apart, threw out the skin, just used the white meat and some of the dark meat, and mixed it in with some avocado mayonnaise, and that was my lunch. So like
Okay.
chicken salad.
Yeah.
It was just chicken and the avocado mayonnaise mixed together with some pepper in it, and that was it.
Now, but cause like leading up to your surgery, losing 167 pounds,
Hmm.
you were you basically created a menu and you just stuck to that menu.
Yeah, I mean, there was
There were,
times where I went off of it, which I shouldn't have. I would have probably lost way more than 167 if I didn't go off of it. But there was times where I'm like, I'm craving like a spicy chicken sandwich or something.
hmm.
And there's all these halal places around here which they make amazing like fried chicken sandwiches,
Yeah.
and the chicken's halal. So I'm like, it's a win-win. It's good. It's not injected with all these bad things and stuff like that. So like, why not? Let's go have a cheat meal, and then I'd have a cheat meal like one meal every week, and it would usually be my lunch or my dinner. So I'd either have like a hot honey chicken sandwich and some fries, or I'd go get like a pizza and eat some pizza. But if I would have cut those out, I probably would have lost a lot more than 167. But to keep my sanity, I was like, let me just get a little something here and there.
Well, I think that's a good point
Yeah.
because oftentimes especially when we feel desperate, we could feel like, okay, I got to go balls to the walls, 100%. I can't have no cheat. I can't. And it's like when you have that inflexibility, it kind of sets you up for failure. You
Yeah.
know, most
Yeah.
people don't have that to where it's like they could just go cold turkey and, whatever, change a fundamental habit, something you've been doing for all of your life. That's that's a difficult thing to do. So
Yeah.
I like to tell people, hey, give yourself grace, give yourself the opportunity to transition, you know,
Hmm.
and me too. Like I created a transitional diet for a year because I actually stopped eating meat completely.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, the reason why I did that was because you kind of mentioned earlier, like the injections and the stuff. If you do any research on the meat, like the meat is so bad,
Hmm.
right? Not that meat is inherently bad, but like the quality of meat we get is so bad.
Hmm.
And at some point, I was just like, it would be easier just not to eat it.
Yeah.
So I just stopped, but like I gave myself a year. So when I just stopped doing eating meat, it was not hard. It was just like, well, the last time I had meat was 3 months ago. You know what I mean? So once you
Okay.
get to that point, it's easy. Now on the other side, there was a lot of people that were if you remember, there was a period of time when a whole bunch of like vegan documentaries were coming out and like kind of
Yep.
like, shaming people, all this stuff. So a lot of people was like, okay, I'm going to go vegan. But it was only like because of the documentary and they did it cold turkey and it lasted like 2 weeks, maybe 2 months. And that was
Hmm.
it. So that's the way to do it, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And actually, I was going to say this too, like with the milk thistle, I'm not well studied on milk thistle, but what I do understand is detoxification. So if it was detoxing you at a rapid rate, in general, when it comes to detox, you want to take it slowly. The same way that you would create a transitional diet and not just stop eating meat all at one time, you would create a slow transitional detox as well. And that's something that we teach when it relates to fasting and stuff. Like probably one of the reasons why fasting didn't, especially like intermittent fasting, didn't really seem to work for you is
Yeah.
because it really like when you intermittent fast, if you're not fasting for like at least 18 hours a day, it's really dicey. And then if
Yeah.
you're not paying attention to what you're eating, you'll get some results, but it's not gonna last, you
Right.
know. So I think that it's a great way to help accelerate weight loss, like fasting, if you can figure out what works for you. But it's not as simple as just start fasting, right? There's a little bit of understanding of the way it works, and you believe it or not, you're actually kind of getting it now, um, because one of the things people do is they start doing keto or a carnivore diet, and they find fasting to become very easy just
Mm.
because of how the body adapts to eating like whole food. Because
Yeah.
like you start eating more whole food, you get away from the processed stuff. That starts detoxing you.
Hmm.
So, have you experienced any like noticeable detox symptoms throughout this process? Because you've done a lot with your diet and your habits. Like, what have you kind of noticed would maybe be a detox symptom?
I thought honestly it was going to be hard for me to give up carbs and sugar. I feel like, in a sense, to me, that was like a detox. Because I haven't had any carbs or sugars since June 2nd of this year.
Mm,
Like none. If I touch something that like last night when I was touching like cranberry sauce, I know there's a ton of sugar in that. I touched it. I touched the bowl. I had it on my hands. Usually, my first thing would be just like, all right, just lick it off. No, I wiped it on my pants because I was like, I'm not introducing it because if I taste it, I'm gonna want more
mm,
because I have horrible sweet tooth. Like my sweet tooth is like sour, fruity, Skittles, stuff like that.
yeah.
So after the surgery, like the doctor kind of yelled at me a little bit before the surgery because I ate the day before and I wasn't supposed to.
Ah.
I was like, was like, my bad, I didn't know. So, but I should have known because I was like going in for a pretty big procedure. Like, probably shouldn't have ate. Um,
Yeah.
I had chicken. I pretty much had chicken, but I didn't put anything on it, and I dipped it in mayonnaise because I don't know. It was like a McChicken without the bun, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I feel like me not having sugars and carbs kind of detoxed me in a sense on you know on how bad I've always wanted it and how I've always ate them and like gravitated towards that at first.
Yeah.
Um, because now, like, my wife will make gravy on Sundays and I'll have a meatball or two because she'll make me a pork. I'm not a fan of pork. I don't eat it that much because pork seems to be like the iffier choice of everything else that I would have.
Mm-hmm.
I would go with pork last than anything.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like the meatballs, she'll do like the lamb and pork mixed for me instead of the beef because I can't have red meat yet. Just because it doesn't digest as quickly as like chicken or turkey or
Uh,
you know anything of that nature. The pork, the doctor still doesn't want me to go to pork because it's high in fat. But I've noticed that with even slightly higher fat intake and just protein, like I'm still losing weight weekly. Um, whether it be 2 pounds, 8 pounds, 6 pounds, 4 pounds, it's still coming off. Do I eat like a ton of fatty foods? No, not at all. I mean, egg whites, ground turkey, ground chicken, grilled chicken, um, the meatballs when she makes them, like I'll have one or two of them, and that's about it. Like I had the turkey last night for dinner, but and cheese. That's it. Like those are my pretty much my shopping list. But as far as the detox thing goes, I think my body's pretty much detoxed away from sugar and carbs at this point because the doctor said when he was in there that my liver shrunk significantly from the last
oh,
time he did like an ultrasound on it.
gotcha. So
And he
you had
said
you had
that
already.
was from, lack of sugar, carbs, and fat.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
when he said that, I was like, wow, I didn't know my body could do that. So like all this is new to me, and I'm still like kind of shocked that I'm this far in the journey
Yeah.
because, and I say that because of prior times where I've tried and I've fallen off. So, I'm happy to be where I'm at right now. I'm pushing forward harder than ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the progress that you've made is most people they'll never do it.
Mhm.
I mean, you've lost 50% over almost 50% of your overall weight. Um, it's a large amount of weight, right? Because like
Yeah.
with our community, we usually see people, they're usually about 100 pounds overweight.
Okay.
That's typical.
Right.
And 100 pounds overweight, so you're usually talking about somebody who, they're like maybe like 225
Mm.
and they're really healthy with their optimal weight is probably going to be around that 125, 135 range, something like that.
All right. And
And
they're
so that would
probably
be
like
like
5'8".
right.
Yeah.
That would be their half their body weight, you
Right.
know? So yeah, the 300 pounds in the amount of time that you've done it. Do you have is there any fear in your mind that once you get to a certain, because I'm sure you have like a goal in your mind.
Mhm.
Is there any fear that when you get to your goal that at some point you might spiral back, or like you feel like you won't, or do you feel like anything you're doing right now is not sustainable?
Well, first thing, do I feel like do I get scared that I'll ever go back to what I used to be? Yeah, every day.
Hmm.
Um, every single day. I mean, every day is a battle. I mean, mentally. Um, and perfect example is like I literally the only person I know this is my wife. But I was like literally crying for about 20 minutes all day yesterday in the shower and up in our bedroom because it's a mixture of things. Like my dad recently passed in February, and I just used to call him and talk to him about the football games on Thanksgiving Day, and I couldn't do that today.
Mm.
And I would go see him too. And then the other part that was bothering me, which made me really upset, was the fact that I couldn't eat. Like, food used to be there for me my entire life, and now it's fuel. It's not comfort anymore. It's fuel to keep me going. Like, it's giving me energy. It's not killing me like it used to. And it's rough because my mentally, like, I'm winning mentally, but like there's days where I feel like I'm not. And yesterday was a really rough day. Even though I was thankful for the second chance that I've been given in life, because like I didn't think I would be at that dinner table yesterday if I didn't make a change. Because the way my mindset was last January, man, nobody would have known who I am other than my friends and family. I mean, I was pretty much ready to go at that point.
Yeah.
At that point in life. And I'm just really thankful that I'm here, given the second chance that I have, and I'm down the weight that I'm down, and I'm, able to do things with my kid, go to his basketball with him, shoot hoops with him out on the court, and not be that guy that every parent stares at because I'm 600 pounds.
Yeah.
They never seen somebody that big in their life. I'm literally like, I'm 326 pounds as of Monday. Like, I don't ever remember being that small in my entire life.
Yeah.
I mean, like I told you, I graduated high school at 420. Couldn't tell you when I was 300 pounds ever.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember. But yeah, every day I think that I'm going to 100% spiral down and go backwards. But I got to keep reminding myself that that kid up there is watching me every day. Every day I come home from the gym, everything, saying that he says I look fit. Like, I videotape myself every day at the gym to hold myself accountable. Make sure I'm in there so everybody knows I'm in there. Like, yeah, I'll wear the same thing, but I'm in there every day working harder, if not as hard as the next person that's next to me, But as far as like, not to get off track, but about the gym and everything, but like back to your other question about the diet that I'm doing now, if I feel like it's sustainable. 5 to 6 months out of surgery now, yes. If this was maybe, a year down the line, I would probably still say yes, because I really don't think I can. I've tried to eat more than I can, but I can't. And I'm afraid to, because like this is still so fresh.
Yeah.
I don't want anything bad to happen where like a staple pops, or if something's not healed fully yet, like my stomach breaks open and I die. Like, I don't want to put myself in that type of situation. So, right now, yeah, for me, I think it's sustainable. Yes.
Okay.
For me, what I'm going through. Yes.
That's a very interesting perspective. Like I hear about, I've never, my brother considered getting surgery, some type of weight loss surgery. I don't think he had a specific one in mind, but I never considered, like, you basically, it's almost like, you have a bomb that you could light the fuse on. You know what I mean? If you overeat. I never really thought about that. Like, that could be so dangerous.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a different layer, but that's also, I'm assuming that's something that you talk about with your doctor leading up to, getting the surgery. You understand, like, if you're going to do this, you got to take it seriously, because you could hurt yourself more by getting it and not complying. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I had to go through psychiatric treatments. Like, I had to meet with a shrink or psychiatrist. Sorry. I had to have like group meetings with other people that have had the surgery. Zoom. Uh, they needed to make sure I was mentally prepared for this, and I don't know what changed or what clicked in my mind other than him like being there for my wife and my kid. Like,
Mm.
I mean, I want to say, I don't. When I say this, I don't want anybody to take it as medical advice because it worked for me and it may not work for them
Mm.
or anybody listening or that has thought about taking it. But that testosterone treatment, I think that helped me greatly with
Mm.
my head, to be honest with you. Because when I started that, I realized after being on it for 3 weeks, my mood did like a complete like 180. It went from like down in the dumps to all right, let's go do something. Let's get out. Let's do this.
Mm.
Like I was ready to go. I was I was focused. I was determined. I had energy. I didn't know where it came from.
Mm.
And I honestly think that helped me a lot. Like to get where I needed to be honest with you, because it was a hormonal imbalance that I had.
Yeah.
And my estrogen level was high, my testosterone was low. So I was moody. And the doctor was like, that'll do it. If your estrogen level's high, you're going to be moody. You're going to not want to do things. You're going to want to be lazy. You're going to want to eat all the time. And I'm like, all right, so what do we do to change this? So we did my testosterone blood work. It came in at like 140 or 114 for my total,
Wow.
or my total or free. I forget which one's which. I know one of them is a decimal point. The other one's like a whole number, but the whole number one was like 114 or 140. So it was like super low.
Mm-hmm.
So they put me on, I forget the name of the testosterone, but it was an injectable, subcutaneous. It was a pre-filled syringe. And I, started that. And after the first month, I felt amazing. My testosterone shot up to about like 600. My mental state of mind was just so much clearer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. But again, like I consulted the medical staff. I did my research. I put trust in my doctors, and I entrusted that they wouldn't hurt me or hurt my future. With that. So, I jumped on board and took the ride.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I respect it. The testosterone thing. So I research this stuff. Like I research kind of more like the behind the scenes. Like, for example, you might say, okay, my testosterone is low, and you might be like, why? But if you just kind of stop at the surface level, you think, oh, just hormonal imbalance, something's wrong with me, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm finding is that this is actually done on purpose.
Mhm.
When you look at the food industry and the different chemicals they put in our food, estrogen dominance for whatever
Yep.
reason is very like they want estrogen dominance for men and women because
Mhm.
it's you don't want estrogen dominance in women either. You
Right.
know, it expresses itself differently in men. But the way that I know this is done on purpose, there's artificial estrogen and things that it's like, why is that in this? It's
Mhm.
just, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, it's in everything. It's
Mhm.
in everything. And it makes men more docile, like you said, moody,
Yep.
low energy. We basically aren't our grandfathers or our great grandfathers. We're a
Right.
whole different breed. Um, and I think that it's a big picture thing. It's like if the men, we are like the first line of defense. So if we whether it's our family, whether it's our women, whether it's our country, if
Mhm.
we are lackadaisic, if we're not motivated, if we don't have that little monster inside us,
Mhm.
it's like we could get run over. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that happen, big picture, that should not happen. And part of it is because men aren't the quality of men today isn't what my grandfather or great grandfather.
Mhm.
So, and then of course that has an impact on your health and just everything,
Yeah.
low libido, just, so that was a good move, right? Like it
Mhm.
gave you clarity. It gave you the strength to kind of, because like I said, what you did was incredible, or what you're doing is incredible. So that's a nice tidbit. My brother, I got a lot of brothers, a lot of siblings, but one of my other brothers was specifically dealing with low testosterone. That was like a big thing that he was
Mhm.
dealing with. Similar, similar kind of vibe,
Mhm.
moody. He had low libido. Just he wasn't motivated, and he was having a hard time like moving forward in life.
Right.
And I know that his testosterone has gotten a lot better. It's
Mhm.
something that he could probably talk about, more. But I know he did some things recently to improve it. We typically do it like as natural as possible.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of struggle just learning and experimenting, but um, it's a lot easier to implement natural things if you do it the right way,
Right.
because you don't have to worry about different medicines and stuff mixing together,
Mhm.
because that kind of gets dangerous.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's a good point. So when it comes to the surgery, because we talked about it a little bit, we've talked around it a little bit, but like um, mentally, where were you as far as, I mean, because you gotta go under, right? You're gonna get anesthesia, you go under.
Mhm.
What was that experience like for you leading up to that? Were you nervous? Were you excited? Everything?
Um, I mean, I was everything. I was a huge ball of emotions. I, I, I thought I was going to die, to be honest with you. I've never had surgery in my entire life.
Yeah.
Um, I lied. I did. I had my tonsils taken out when I was 13, but that wasn't a big deal. Like I was 13, I didn't have a life. I had a life, but I didn't build what I had today.
Right.
At 13, I was a kid. I had no worries. I didn't have no bills. I didn't have, a wife, a kid, and have, family. I mean, I had family, but it wasn't what it is now. So, I thought I was freaked out. I was so worried that I had my cousin, who me and him grew up. We were pretty much like brothers, but I asked him to come to the hospital with us, with me and my wife, just in case anything happened, and to
Mm.
keep her company, because it was going to be like a 2-hour surgery. So, he showed up, and I don't want to, like, give anything away, but come the end of the year, once I have a goal where I want to meet I want to get under 300 or at 300 by the end of the year. Um, and there's a video that my cousin took that I have, and I just think if it wasn't for him taking that video, like I watch it a lot and it motivates me. It was me walking down the hallway to go into the surgery room. Well, to go to the surgery room where they get me ready, and it's him saying, "Here goes." He's like, "Here's the day of your life where you've changed it for the better.
Mm.
Like this is the start of your new life."
Mm.
Sorry.
Take your
Um,
time.
and I watch it because like I still can't believe that I went through with this. Like I was that scared. Like I told my wife after surgery, I was like, I was scared to the point where I wanted to cancel it because I've never been under general anesthesia. I've never been cut open. I've never had anything taken out of me. Like I've always was safe, minus going to the food and the alcohol and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But thankfully, my doctor calmed me down. He was like, "Look, if you came in here ready to get cut open, I'd be worried." He's like, "But you're scared." He's like, and that shows me that, you know, mentally you're ready, And he said that I want you to know that I'm going to take good care of you and nothing's going to happen. And I said, all right. So we did all the tests that we had to lead up to it. I was fine, perfectly healthy, no issues, thank God. I read the report after the surgery too, because I'm just one of those people that needs to know what happened. Because I asked him when I woke up, I was like, "Did you videotape any of this?" I was like, "Because I would love to have a copy." But he didn't video it. But I asked him, I was like, "Did you keep any of my stomach that I could see it or my gallbladder or anything?" And he's like, "No, that's in the trash." I was like, okay. So I read the report, and I swear my dad and everybody must have been watching over me in that room, because I had minimal to no blood loss. When they did the tube intubated me, no issues. They said it went in perfectly fine, no problems. I handled anesthesia extremely well. They said, like, everything in their eyes was like a 10 out of 10. It went as smooth as possible. And I woke up and in the recovery room, and I said a little bit of a curse word, and the nurse yelled at me because I said the F word, because I felt the pain because I moved a little bit, and I was like, F.
Yeah.
Because when you have the sleeve surgery, they do 5 holes. They'll do like 1 here at the middle of your chest, and then 4 around the bottom above your belly button. And on the bottom hand side is where the biggest one is, because that's where they pull your stomach and everything out of. So I moved a little, and I was like, oh, and she was like, Mr. Brennan, there's no need to curse. I'm like, I'm sorry, you just didn't have your stomach ripped out of your right side. So like after that, I was like, all right, I won't curse no more. It kind of like got me, but
that seems understandable though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like they were like, you're on medicine. I'm like, yeah, I could still feel it. So I don't know what kind of medicine I was on, but I wasn't blocking the pain, that's for sure. Yeah. Like for the most part it was, but when I moved every so little bit, I felt it. But like when I woke up and came to, that's when I like just was like, I felt a little bit, and then I was fine after that. But not to get off track, but yeah, I was happy, I was scared, I was a mix of emotions leading up to the day of my surgery. Like I didn't go out, I didn't talk to nobody. I stayed in here with my family, and people that texted me, I would be like, thanks. I was short with them. I just wanted to go get it done and, move on with my life, because I didn't know what the outcome was going to be, because like I said, I've never had to undergo surgery. So I didn't know what would or could have happened.
Yeah. I think that it seems like you at that point you had decided you want to live, right? Like you were ready to live, and that's something that I think in the future still could be important for you to highlight and make sure because I know how emotions and feelings, I know how things can get, I know how dark things can get, but you made a decision that you wanted to live, and I think that was important. What has it been like as far as like recovery from, the surgery? Obviously, I'm sure they kept you for a certain amount of time, but, what was it like taking that first bite after?
So the recovery was actually really easy. I was surprised. They gave me gabapentin. I think that's a pain medication.
Okay.
I could be wrong. They gave me a yellow pill and a red pill. I don't know. They said if I had pain, take the yellow. If I don't, but if I didn't have pain, don't take it. But honestly, 4 hours after the surgery, I was up walking around on the floor.
Okay.
I was walking around, had the gown on, butt hanging out, all that fun stuff. Because them gowns, they don't fit normally. So I was walking around, everything's showing. and just holding on to the medicine rail. And my wife, was behind me holding the gown closed, and we were doing laps around because they pump you up with air to make your body expand from your organs. So they were like, "You need to walk around and get the gas out." And I was like, "What gas?" And they're like, "We fill your body cavity up with gas." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. How's it going to come out?" And they said, they just are like, naturally, you just got to walk it off. And I'm like, okay. So 4 hours after the surgery, they helped me up. I was walking around. I got discharged the next day to go home. The ride home was rough because, the wound, the cuts and everything was still tender. But it took about a month. I took about 3 weeks off from work. 3 weeks off from work, used all my PTO. Liquid diet for the first 2 weeks after surgery. And then I was able to finally eat tuna or like scrambled eggs, soft scrambled eggs. And I was worried when I ate the eggs because I was like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to react. So I ate the eggs and it felt a little weird at first. I won't lie. Like my stomach felt it was turning. Mm-hmm. So, but it felt really good. I had maybe one whole egg scrambled and soft scrambled, and I was extremely full after that. Mm-hmm. Like not to the point where I was going to be like, oh, this is bad. Like I'm full, but it was like satisfying full.
Satiated. Yeah.
Yeah. And, now that I'm on like just eating chicken and everything, it's great. I mean, I still have my mental battles when I see, I order my family pizza or something. I have to sit there with my chicken salad or my grilled chicken or something, but I just push through it. I don't give in. That life's behind me. I really don't want it to come back ever because I wasn't a happy person. I wasn't who I am now. Like I love who I am now. I'm doing things I never did before.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not worried about going out to a mall or a baseball game or anything like that and getting stared at. Dealt with that my entire life and wasn't fun.
Yeah.
But the recovery, I thought recovery wasn't bad. I thought it was pretty good. The days I had off, kind of got bored sitting in the house, so I'd walk around the block because it was nice out. It was summertime. Walk around the block twice. I tried to push myself a lot and go fast, but there was times where my body reminded me like, "Yo, you gotta slow down."
Yeah.
I would get to like the end of the block and I'm just like, all right, I need to take a break, stand up against a tree, catch my breath, and then go again. Because I was like 468 when I had my surgery. It's 468 pounds is what I weighed in at in the hospital. So after the surgery, I'm sure I lost a couple pounds with them removing my stomach and everything. But recovery though was relatively smooth.
How quickly did you start losing weight? Because you said you was doing like a liquid diet for a while. Were you tracking your weight?
Yeah, the first week after surgery, I dropped 23 pounds.
Okay.
I don't know if that was just water weight or organs and water weight or what, but because I didn't say this, but I did have my gallbladder removed as well. Because it was like 2 times the size of a normal one. But yeah, the first week was 23 pounds. The second week was like 13. It was like for the first 3 or 4 weeks, it was like double digit losses. And then it tapered off to like under double digits, like 8, 6, 7, things of that nature. And I'm just shocked about how fast it's coming off. Like,
yeah,
I saw the gastric my gastric bypass, the bariatric surgeon 3 months ago, I think. When was the last time we saw him? Before like the week ago.
Every 3 months.
So it was 3 months ago, and I weighed, what was I, 380? It was about like 380 something at that point. Sorry, I just saw my wife
Yeah.
walk in. I couldn't remember, so I wanted to reach out.
No, it's cool.
So I was like 380 at that point, and then 3 months later, like at the meeting, he's like, when you come back in 3 months, you're going to be well under 350.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way. And sure enough, met with him like 2, 3 weeks ago, and I was like 336.
Hmm.
And he was right. I was like yeah, it was crazy. I dropped like 50, almost 60 pounds since I seen him in 3 months.
It's actually interesting because I'm analyzing the data, right? I'm
Mhm.
because like we teach water fasting, and the numbers that you're having are very similar.
Mhm.
Obviously, the bigger that you are, the more you're going to lose with water fasting. I would imagine it's the same thing here too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and but you did a liquid diet
Mhm.
for quite a while after your surgery, and then even when you did start eating, it sounds like it was more of maybe like we practice like mono fasting, which is where you just eat one food item, usually a whole food.
Mhm.
For example, boiled egg or scrambled egg or whatever, and that's really what you eat for the whole day.
Okay.
Or if you do it for meals, like
Mhm.
when you don't mix a whole bunch of stuff, like we love to mix a whole bunch of like food items, but it's actually easy for the body to digest when we just have like, let's say if you just had three food items, you
Mhm.
know, or just one, the less
Right.
the better. So it seems like a lot of the weight loss early on was just from how you were eating.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
but that's I mean that's the goal. Like that's the key, right? Like the surgery just kind of like shrinks your stomach. You basically have to stop eating as much. So that's really what it is. And then of course the gym comes into play where it helps to build muscle and get the heart rate up, get the heart health going, and all the other things that working out does. But the majority of it, would you say, is through diet, basically?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say for me, 80% of it. No, I mean, everybody preaches like 80% of it's diet, but for me, I feel like the gym is more than 20%, honestly.
Hmm.
For me, I mean,
Well, you go hard,
it's,
so
yeah, I mean, I'm not. I'm in there at least an hour and a half to 2 hours every day.
yeah.
Well, 4 or 5 times a day a week. But like my diet's pretty like consistent. It's the same. It's pretty clean. I mean, it's grilled chicken. It's just it's just chicken, eggs, and turkey. Like it's nothing crazy. And I used to love coffee, Starbucks coffee, specifically like macchiatos because they're real sweet.
Hmm.
And now I've switched to that Stocks coffee, the cold brew. Um, and I found Starbucks zero sugar creamer. And I'm like, this is a game changer. No sugar, no carbs. Let's do it. Like, so I'm still enjoying it, but it's not every day. It's on occasion. Like today I had one. It was my first one in probably 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I don't drink it every day, but yeah, I would say for me that the gym diet ratio is probably like 60-40 gym.
Mm.
For me at
Well,
least, because my diet is what it is. Like I haven't gone off of it. I haven't, you know, gotten off the beaten path that my doctor has put me on. So um I think right now my main focus is me focusing on my cardio the most in the gym because my weightlifting, I'm in there. I know what I need to do weightlifting wise. Mentally, I just need to prepare myself to do the cardio for a half hour because it's boring. I mean, I'll be honest with you, riding a stationary bike is really boring for a half hour.
yeah.
So even walking on a treadmill, it gets boring, and I'm just like, you just got to push through it, and that's what I keep telling myself.
Mm. You know
So,
that there's this cool thing I've seen recently where they basically turn the workouts into games. Like they'll add screens and like turn it into a video game. I
oh yeah,
saw, this is probably older, but I saw one where you're on the bike but you're like racing against other people. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it depends on the gym, but those sorts of things I think are cool where you can
Yeah.
gamify your workout to make it a little bit more exciting. There was one, it's a plank board, but like you're planking, but you're controlling like a game while you plank and you lean left, you lean right, you lean back to like control the game.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
That's
Uh,
pretty cool, actually.
yeah, I think it's if you're gonna do it, you can make it fun, make it a
Yeah.
game. You like games, I like games.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that like for you, maybe the exercising might be also just a time for you to get away and kind of have time to yourself
Oh,
and
yeah.
maybe like blow off steam and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, because the gym could be therapeutic for a lot of people.
It's definitely therapeutic for me. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Like it's my home away from home.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't go to the gym, I'm miserable the entire
Mm.
night. I'm like, what am I gonna do now? Like, what am I gonna sit here? Like, I just I have to get used to it because I'm not used to just sit. I was used to sitting around too much.
Right.
Now my body's like, get up, get up, get up, and move.
Mm.
And I'm like, if I'm sitting here and my body's telling me to get up and move, I'll start getting antsy. I'll start getting moody. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I need to do something. So, the gym definitely has helped me. And there's a lot of people in there that have come up to me and uh, told me that I look amazing, that I'm doing a great job. And they're actually now starting to see like my body like take a better shape.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody actually said that to me the other day. He's like, dude, do you wearing like smaller clothes? And I'm like, no. And he's like, you wearing a girdle or anything under there? And I was like, no, just, my pants and my tank top. And he's like, dude, it's looking like it's getting tight. He's like, everything's looking like it's getting tighter. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm dropping weight and I'm lifting and, I haven't worked on core yet, but I should probably incorporate core a little bit
Yeah.
just to strengthen up, everything else. And then that'll probably help with losing some weight too. But
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
I mean, I love the compliments to be honest with you, because all the everything people have said to me in the past wasn't a compliment. Let's just put
Mm-hmm.
it was always like a slur or something that wasn't really, motivating.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, you deserve it, right?
it's good
When
to
you
hear the
put,
positive stuff now.
yeah, yeah, you earned it. You earned it. And couple questions. Did you stop taking Wegovy?
I have, yes. I stopped taking Wegovy 2 weeks prior to June 2nd, only
Okay.
because the doctor said they didn't want me to. They didn't want it to affect anything with the anesthesia. The testosterone also the same thing. I had to do that 2 weeks prior because of anesthesia. But I have not gone back onto Wegovy yet because the doctor said if I'm on it, I won't eat. Like especially with the size of my stomach, he wants me to get my protein intake in, and he
Mm-hmm.
said if he puts me on Wegovy with how big my stomach is now, I won't want to eat anything at all. And he doesn't want that to happen because at that point I won't be healthy. Like because he wants me to eat protein.
Do you think you need it anymore?
Um, no, I think I've taken control of my mind
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I don't want it. I don't need it. Well, I think I need it probably in the future, maybe possibility because I know a few people that are a year out that are back on Wegovy that have had the bariatric sleeve surgery, and they're back on it because they get cravings for like sweets and things of that nature. So I'm saying there's a possibility that I might be back on it in the future, but not anytime soon. I
Okay.
would say maybe if I do go back on it, it would probably be next July. Like July, anytime past my 1 year mark
Mm-hmm.
is when
Gotcha.
I think I might have to hop back on it, but I might not. But as of right now, I would say me controlling my mind is um winning at this point, and I don't need medicine to help me with it.
Yeah. So I'm listening, right? And I'm thinking, have you ever considered that the gym has become your new coping mechanism? Like, have you ever thought about that?
No, never. I mean, it makes sense though because
Yeah.
of how I feel when I don't go.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, it possibly could be because I
Yeah.
love it. I mean, I go to different gyms all around New Jersey. Like I'll
Oh,
like
what do you
I
do? Is
have
it like you do like trial or do you?
so like I have like one set membership at Crunch Fitness, like
Mhm.
because I don't need like all the bodybuilder stuff. I just need to get in there, work my body, get my heart rate up, do what I got to do.
Mhm.
But like on the weekends, there was a guy that I work with. That's my friend. His name's Dwight. I don't know if you've seen any of my workout videos from when I first started, but he's a light skinned guy that's tatted up, and he made sure that I got to the point to have my surgery done. And I work with him too. We work at the mortgage company, so like
Okay.
like he made me he pushed me and helped me want to go to the gym when I was starting.
Mm.
And he stuck by me all the way till about 2 months before my surgery because at that point he kind of was like, "Look, now it's time for you to hold yourself accountable and get it
Mm.
done. You're at the finish line. Go through it." So, he helped me a lot, told me what to do, what exercises to do, how to do them, and yeah, I feel like you know he was a huge help, honestly. But what I do now is like even when me and him were working out, like we went to this gym up in Pennsylvania. We traveled to it to check it out, and it was like a $10 day pass. So
Okay.
that's what we do basically is like we'll pay for the day pass to go in and just work out, use their equipment, and then leave. So I'll travel around New Jersey and hit different gyms on the weekends that I'm free. Like on a Saturday or Sunday, I'll go and do shoulders and arms and legs. I'll do a whole body.
Mm.
And I'll pay like 10, $15 to get in and just use their equipment. And some of the places are really nice. It's
Yeah.
just but some of them are just like a little bit too far for me to do after a work day, with like travel to it. So that's why I do it on the weekends. Like yeah, that's been a thing that I've been doing now. Like there's a couple I want to visit before the end of the year too. That just opened up that look really cool.
That's really cool, man. I've never heard anything like this before.
Yeah, and
Like,
it's all making sense to what you're saying. Like the gym might be you know, my comfort place now because
yeah.
I love doing it. I love traveling to different gyms. I love going to the gym. And then when I don't go, I'm like, we better have something to do. Because if we
Ha-
don't, I'm going to be bored and miserable all day.
Yeah. You're developing a new culture.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm kind of like highlighting these things is I want you to realize what you're doing because I hear the uncertainty, right, as it relates to the future. What's the future going to hold? How's it going to look? You're developing a culture around, your health and wellness that's different. I don't know
Mhm.
about the other people that you were mentioning as far as, they're going through their surgery and any issues that they might have, but um, I don't know. I just feel like they're not doing what you're doing, you know?
Yeah.
And, and I just had a cool idea because I don't know how much of a social media person you are, but it's like you could literally review gyms.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
just like a cool little tidbit. You do your exercises, but you could also review gyms because you're like going around and giving you would have very unique insight on
Mhm.
gyms. I mean, I don't know anybody who does that. Maybe trainers,
Mhm.
they do a little bit more different gyms, but it also seems like you're not a trainer. You're seeing it from a different perspective, and it might be helpful for people
Yeah.
to kind of see like what are the differences between the gyms and maybe help them figure out what gym they like. But um,
It's actually not a
yeah,
bad idea.
it
It's
it's
not a
just
bad idea at all. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's
it's
actually genius.
pretty cool, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't even
Knowing
think about that.
that doesn't, I don't think that exists. I don't know. I haven't seen it. It's cool.
There is one guy that does it, but he's a big influencer. His name's Ziegler Monster, or he made it. I think he created the Gila mix,
Okay.
the shaker bottle.
Yeah.
That's like a vortex kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
But he did something similar to that, where he traveled across the United States and did like gym day pass. He made a gym day pass app, and he gives his input on it. So
Okay.
like, but you know, again, it's not coming from it's coming from an influencer's point of view and
Right.
not a normal person that's bettering their life point of view.
Exactly. You're gonna have
You
a
know,
different
so
perspective.
yeah, that's right. Because who knows if he's getting paid for it? I don't know if he is. I'm not saying he is,
Right.
but you're a big influencer like that. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
In my eyes, if you're that big of an influencer and you're traveling from wherever you live, which I don't think he lives in New Jersey, but he came by a gym in New Jersey that just recently expanded, and he gave his honest review on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he hit up a gym that's in Pennsylvania that I love going to all the time, called Fusion Gyms. I don't know if you ever heard of them. I don't know. But a lot of people there's a lot of gym influencers from like Texas area that go there too. But again, I don't think they're willingly just going there on their own.
Mm.
That's how I feel.
I mean,
From an influencer point of view, like, you have over a couple million followers. I mean, you could pretty much demand anything you want at that point and see if it sticks. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm over here. I have, I don't know, 200,000 on all platforms, maybe 200,000
mhm.
followers, like 160,000 on Instagram. I think 38,000 on my fitness page, and close to 29,000 on my TikTok. But like, I started my TikTok and I started all my social medias just to document my weight loss,
Mm-hmm.
and just to hold me accountable so that I know, like, yo, look, you got people watching you. You need to go do it.
Yeah.
Not just for yourself, but like to show others, like, you can make the change at any time in your life. Like, I'm 38 years old. I got a family. I got a lot going on for me. Like, um, it to me, like, I think, like, yeah, it sucks that I started this late in my life as
Mm.
I'm 38, but I think right now, honestly, is the best time of my life to start, because my son's at that age where, like, he's watching me and is comprehending what I'm doing,
Yeah.
as opposed to me doing it and then him being here. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I would still show him the right way after the fact, but he wouldn't see the struggles and the hard, like, the losses and the gains and, the
Mm-hmm.
hurdles and everything I've gone through to get to where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like me showing him, the road's not always straight and narrow and perfect,
Mm-hmm.
is like huge and will impact his future,
100%. You
So
also have impacted, as you mentioned, your community, 200,000, 300,000.
mhm.
Like, had you done this 10 years ago, would you have that community?
Right. I
You know?
don't even
So
know.
everything's always at the right time.
Mhm.
There's always going to be the benefit of doing something right now. I like, me personally, we can always have regrets, and we can always, I wish I would have known sooner. Obviously, I have those too. We all
Yeah.
do. But when I look at the big picture, I'm like, man, if I would have known this, yes, I would have done X, Y, Z, but also, how would my life have unfolded? Having this knowledge or having this experience at this age or at
Mhm.
this time in life, how would it have unfolded? Same thing for me. Like, my whole wellness brand, had I had this experience in my early 20s,
Mhm.
I wouldn't have this brand. That's for sure.
Right.
Like, I would have did what I did, got healthy, changed my life, and then went on about my business doing whatever I wanted to get into real estate,
Mhm.
you know? which I still do have some real estate. Just it's not what I envisioned. Not to say that it won't.
Right.
It's just that this brand and helping people in this way is I know is like my true calling. Like the real estate thing was like that's a great way to make money. It's a good investment.
Oh, yeah.
But what I'm doing now supersedes that. And then
Right.
of course, I've been able to monetize it. So it's all good. It's not like I feel like I'm missing out.
Mhm.
But um I think it's incredible what you're doing. That's a lot of pressure, you know. I
Yeah.
think it's also important to remember that you're human and you're allowed to have days.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Especially like high emotional days. I think sometimes as men, it seems like we're taught we can't cry, which I actually teach people that it's the opposite. Men should cry. The difference is men don't cry in front of certain people. They don't cry with everybody. You
Right.
get to a safe place and you
Mhm.
you cry there, but we
Yeah.
do need to cry because
I agree.
there's a detox that
Yeah.
happens when you cry, you
Mhm.
know? And when you
Yep.
don't do it, you hold it all in and then it starts eating away at you.
Yeah. And I feel like
So,
what you said about in your safe space, you could do it. It's perfect example because you don't want to cry in front of everybody because, unfortunately there is a lot of snakes in the world and um, doing that in front of the wrong person could show, weakness in their eyes.
mhm.
And they might, be that one person that sees it and tries to take advantage of you.
Yep.
So I could totally agree with and understand with everything you just said on that statement about men do need to cry because we do. I mean,
Mhm.
you don't look. A lot of people that have passed away family wise were never cried in front of me, held it all in, kept quiet, said they were okay, and then died. And
Mm.
come to find out after they died, they weren't okay. They had a lot going on, but I get it. They did it so nobody would worry.
Mhm.
But I don't think that's healthy, to be honest with you.
No.
And I think you pretty much need to be open about everything because I just feel like if you find out later in life when it's too late, devastation hits a little bit too harder. Hits
Mhm.
harder than it should. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, you know, perfect
Yeah.
example. My dad, like he never talked to me about anything,
Mm.
and now I'm finding out about everything that was wrong with him, and I'm just like, geez.
Yeah.
So, I totally understand that statement, and I agree with you 100% on that.
One thing that I've learned from just getting to know you here in a short time is you have a really incredible support system.
Mhm.
And oftentimes we could look at things, especially from the outside looking in, especially when we talk about like influencers or people with brands and stuff, and you could think, oh man, that's crazy. That person did that thing. Like they
Mhm.
did it. But it's like this whole team of people behind that person that helped them do it. And sometimes we look at that and think, oh, they're doing it on their own. I think that the most successful people in life are the ones that have a healthy support system. Like when I started doing my weight loss, my brother, who also was overweight, he was obese. We did it together, and it was like honestly, like it's hard to say that I would have been able to do it without him.
Mhm.
And I'm a pretty confident person, but I don't know, like it was difficult, but it was easy because I had somebody experiencing something very similar at the same time. We were to kind of like bounce ideas off each other, just kind of talk and dialogue, and it made it more palatable, the whole experience.
Okay.
Um, but in general, having that support system is everything, in my opinion. And of course, you can't have it if you don't tell people. Like if people don't know what's going on.
Right.
So this is a good message for men, I think, to not allow society to make you cold.
Mhm.
Because cold, it's like we think it's strength, but it's really much harder to express yourself than to not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's way
I
more
feel like we should
difficult.
all let it out,
Yeah.
honestly, because like you said, like, society keeps a lot of people cold and quiet. And unfortunately, it's I don't think that's how it should be. I mean, I don't care who sees me cry. I know I'm not weak at the end of the day. I
Mm.
mean, I'm not weak by any means. Like, yeah, I feel weak in the gym at sometimes, but like mentally, I am the strongest I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Like mentally, I can't even tell you how focused and tuned and like dialed in I am right now.
Yeah,
And I really,
definitely.
I'm loving it like so much. And I know, like I said, I have my days where I'll cry, but it's just one day. The next day is going to be better. Like today, I'm perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
I let it all out yesterday because this first Thanksgiving after my surgery and first Thanksgiving out without my father. And I feel like letting it all out just kind of really like it took a weight off my chest.
Yeah, yeah,
And going to the gym early in the morning that day, that's the funny part too. The whole crying thing didn't really hit me until after the gym,
mm,
which was weird. I don't know why, but I literally pulled up into my driveway and just lost it.
mm,
Walked in, went upstairs, lost it for like another 20 minutes, and then got dressed, got ready, went and enjoyed Thanksgiving, gave grace, and watched football. And today I'm ready to take on the world again.
yeah. That's how
You
it
know?
goes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I wanted to, before we wrap up, I wanted to give you a little bit of my thoughts about future.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
do want to talk to you about, what your future goals are, but I just want to give a little bit of input. And
Mhm.
like I said before, take it or leave it. No, there's no pressure or anything like that. Um, one
I love
thing that
constructive criticism.
it constructive criticism or just, guidance based on what I've experienced. So I've worked with literally thousands of people. Weight loss is probably like the main thing that we do. I really like holistic wellness. So, just identifying healthy coping mechanisms and, understanding how the body detoxes, that's all part of it as well. But when it comes to loose skin, which is one of the major issues that they're actually really afraid. You probably know that, but they're really afraid of loose skin.
Yeah.
And till this very day, I think I'm one of the only brands that really promotes weight loss without loose skin.
Okay.
Now, the way that we do it is through natural methods. I don't know. I've never um, been into like the surgery and kind of gone from it from that standpoint, but I do believe that what I teach would still work to help
Right.
with loose skin because what it does is it activates the autophagy in the body and allows the body to kind of clean up the extra protein that is the loose skin.
Mhm.
And we trigger that through fasting. So with a 2 day to 2 day fast, you can see extreme levels increase of autophagy in the system. Um, and I know you said you had tried fasting before, but I think if you were to approach it with like creating like a gradient, because your dietary habits are actually pretty good right now,
Mhm.
you might find that fasting is a lot easier for you now. And with 2 days of fasting, you could boost autophagy, which is the body's natural recycling of cells, and that would help you tremendously with loose skin. The other really, really big point is hydration. And
Mhm.
so I know that you said you're not really drinking coffee and stuff like that. And I know you also are staying away from like fruit right now per
Mhm.
your doctor's orders. When
Yeah.
you get to a place where either he gives you the green light on fruit or you feel more comfortable with plant material, I would highly recommend um, consuming H3O2, which is plant water. So it doesn't have to be fruit, like sweet fruit. You could
Right.
do low glycemic fruits or you could do greens like, leafy greens. But consuming plant water um, it's the water that your cells actually utilize. So a lot of people
Huh.
don't know the body doesn't use H2O. When you drink, water, the body has to actually expend energy and convert that into structured water that the cells can use.
Okay.
Whereas when you drink plant water, which is just fruit juice or whatever, it's already structured. It's already available for the body. So it absorbs and hydrates really well.
Huh.
The other thing you could do to help increase hydration levels, especially like right now, if you don't want to mess with plants, is get yourself some Celtic sea salt.
Yeah.
Celtic, or just in general, if you just find a complete salt, it's going to have magnesium in it. You put just a little grain of it underneath your tongue, you let it dissolve, and you drink your water after that. And what it does is that magnesium draws water into the cells.
Okay.
With your traditional table salt and stuff, it doesn't have the magnesium.
Right.
So the magnesium is going to help to hydrate you. The reason that's important is because when we lose weight, the reason why we get loose skin and you know, I don't know if anybody's ever explained loose skin, and I don't know what the traditional medical wisdom says about it, but it comes from dehydrated skin cells. The elasticity, you don't have elasticity in your skin, because if you think about it, when you were younger, you weren't as big as you are now, right? You weren't as big as your biggest, but somehow the skin was able to stretch.
Right.
Well, if it could stretch to that size, it can also retract. It can shrink. And this goes back to what you had mentioned earlier about the liver and how quickly your liver was able to kind of shrink and kind of reverse or heal.
Yeah.
The body does that on every level. It's not, the liver is a big highlight because it's such an important organ. It's pretty much your immune system.
Right.
You know, the liver does so much work. So it has to be able to do that, but your whole body can do that. It can all like repair. So elasticity of the skin, coupled with autophagy. And the reason why we don't get this like with traditional weight loss is typically we're dehydrating ourselves, even if you're not doing it on purpose. But typically we have a lot of dehydration because you're probably at the gym, you're working out, you're sweating a lot. And then you might be drinking water, but if you're not hydrating, like if you don't understand the difference between drinking water and hydrating, you're actually going to dehydrate. And then I don't know if you ever used them, but like they've got the sauna suits that you wear where you can like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
a lot of people,
like sweat makes you sweat more. Yeah.
makes you sweat more, which it dries you up. You lose weight, but the elasticity of the skin, you lose that. So I think that a combination, because I don't know what your goals are as far as like the surgery goes, like if you still plan to do it, or I don't know where your goals are, but regardless, leading up to it, like if you're still planning to do the surgery, you can start making some of these changes. You might find that you don't have as much loose skin, or you might find that you're making good enough progress where you feel like you don't need the surgery, because it's still a surgery nonetheless.
Right.
And you may find that you still want the surgery for other reasons, but I just wanted to make sure that I told you that, and also that encourage you to look into fasting. And you, at one point, I think you mentioned you were doing like berries and different things with your diet. Berries are great antioxidants. They're great for building the immune system. They're great for cleansing. So as a gradient, to just help, because there's still a lot of toxicity in the flesh that you can release, and berries are a great option, low glycemic. Yeah,
that's what the doctor said to like gear myself towards first if I do try any fruits. He said any berries, and like because like you said, they have great benefits, better benefits than the majority of the other fruits. So, but I agree with you.
Nature's Skittles, man. You get you a bowl of berries, like they're beautiful, I
mean, my kid loves blueberries. Like he'll eat a whole pint of them, and I'm like, man, slow down. They're expensive.
That's
So
they're very expensive, right?
Yeah. I mean,
hey, listen,
like a raspberry type of guy, but
listen, man. One of the things I did, I started a garden, Get yourself a little blueberry bush, a raspberry bush, whatever. Put it outside, water it every once in a while, and you know what I mean? You never
Yeah.
know. But it's um it's been a pleasure getting to know you, getting to talk to you, having this experience. I think that we've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. I know my
Yeah.
community will learn a lot. And I did want to give you the opportunity to talk about your future goals. And then also, like I said, if you have a GoFundMe or whatever the case is for the surgery, the loose skin surgery that you want to do, go ahead. Please feel free to kind of talk about that.
So, well, thank you for reaching out and inviting me onto your channel. It's greatly appreciated. Honestly, I you know it makes me feel good about just being a person, like knowing that there's people out there that actually care and want to know more about your journey, your struggles, your ups, your downs, everything. So thank you. um Future goals, I already hit my first goal where it was to lose 300 pounds. So that I crossed off the list. My second goal is, by the end of the year, I want to be at 300 pounds or less. By the end of this year, because my birthday is coming up on January 7th, and the doctor kind of gave me an inch to play with, where he said, have one cookie or have one sweet treat, and that's it. And I'm telling myself, if I don't get under 300, I'm not doing it.
Mm.
So, like, I'm pushing to get under the 300. That's my next goal. And then my other goal after that is to hit my goal weight, which would be 250 pounds by March
Oh yeah, you pushing.
of 2025. So, like, I'm 76 pounds away as of Monday. Those are my main goals. The main goal that is like more in depth, that means more to me than anything, is to get on a roller coaster with my kid.
Mm.
That's top of mind more than anything, because he wants to get on one, and I know my wife ain't going to get on it.
Yeah.
So I got to put the big boy pants on and jump on that thing now. At 38 years old, haven't been on one in forever, but
Man.
that's a lot of motivation is that, to be honest with you, because I want to have those memories with my kid, just like my dad had with me and I've had with my dad. So that's a goal I want to do, hopefully come the summertime of next year. Or if we go travel somewhere that has a roller coaster that's open and it's not freezing, I will attempt it.
Mm-hmm.
But those are my main goals right now. I do have a GoFundMe because I definitely feel like I'm gonna, take your advice as well and give that a try to see if it does help. Like, I'm like, I could fast, I could water fast easily, and I could fast easily now, like you said.
Mm.
And I know I can, because we recently took a trip to upstate New York, went to a Finger Lakes just to get away, because mentally I was like not good a couple weeks ago. And on the road, the trip home, they were eating breakfast. I didn't eat nothing until probably like 4 o'clock that day. I fasted from like 6 p.m. the night before until 4 p.m. the next day.
Yeah.
And I had no problem doing it. All I drank was water. I had nothing but water and like 0-calorie, like Gatorade, like the G2 zeros or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like that was it. That and coffee, like black coffee, nothing else. And I was fine. I wasn't starving. I wasn't like going around looking for food. I felt great. So I'm definitely going to look into the H3O2 and the Celtic sea salt to try that, because look, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning as I go down this road. So like any advice and anything that anybody is going to tell me that will definitely benefit me and help me, I'm going to look into it and definitely try it.
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to like just set it aside and be like, yeah, okay, like I know what works for me. I'm not like that. Like, if I genuinely feel like it'll benefit me and the person genuinely feels like it'll benefit me, then I'll try it. So, those are the main goals. I do have to have surgery regardless because I have a hernia.
Mm-hmm.
I have a pretty large abdominal hernia. So the doctor said when I have that done, they can try and get like a tummy tuck done. So I have to have that done. But I do have a GoFundMe for my skin removal. If I share the thing, it's just like GoFundMe with a bunch of numbers after it. But
I can put the link in the.
okay, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
have it like on my phone here, but
okay.
it's also posted on all my socials. Like it's pinned at the top, and it's on my link tree. I'm me on all social media platforms. Well,
What's your social? What's your
my Facebook one for my fitness is Fat to Fit Nation, like the number 2.
okay?
That's what I made. I made that a while ago when I started, and then fell off. But now I'm using it more because I'm not falling off anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But like on any other social media platform, it's PDB weight loss, which is PETEY, the letter B, and then weight loss, just as one whole word. That's on my Instagram, my TikTok, my YouTube. I don't really use my YouTube a lot, but I have one in case I start to do anything.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where I could be found. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I have it all.
Okay.
What's that new Instagram thing? What's that called?
Threads.
Threads. Yeah. I got that too. I just post on it every now and then with my workouts, but that's about it. I mean, right now I'm just focused on moving forward, helping others, helping myself, being here for my kid and my wife, and just living a happy, healthy life,
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So I'll put the links for your socials in the description and in the comment section, as well as the GoFundMe. So that, yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep, of course. I definitely hope it's a blessing to you. I think that this experience has been a blessing to us. So I appreciate you coming on, and we're looking forward to. Yeah, I mean, I would actually love to have you come back to see some progress. Maybe next year, and just see where you're at.
Yeah, man, definitely. Yeah. Sure, I would love to be doing that. It honestly will show the world accountability goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I think everybody needs to be accountable for their actions. And, it took me 38 years to figure that out.
Yeah. Better late than never.
Yeah. No, I would definitely be honored to, come back and definitely do a follow-up for sure.
Great, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. For those that are watching, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, the application of knowledge is power. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.